Ministry of Education, and I have with me my colleague,
Adebayo Miganjo.
next slide. Okay, so in this first slide, we'll just be taking you through the overview of the governance structure, where we have the National Council on Skills as the apex body for skill development in the country. This body is being chaired by the Vice President of the Federal Republic and co-chaired by the Honorable Minister of Education and private sector in person of Alhaji Aliko Dangote. We have key representatives from federal ministries of labor, finance, power, works, industry, youth, women affairs, agriculture, tourism, and transport. We also have 6 state governors as part of this body, and the head of the Nigerian Civil Service, as well as the National Board for Technical Education, Industrial Training Fund, NASIMA, MAN, which is the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, NECA, Development Partners, and the chairman of the Sector Skill Council, 1 representative each from the professional bodies and the regulatory bodies. So skill development is implemented in Nigeria through the through the formal channels like the technical colleges and the polytechnics. So technical colleges would be secondary education, post-basic education from year 10 to year 12. We also have the training service providers that are public, private, and sometimes non-governmental organizations. And then we have the informal channels like the apprenticeship programs and some community-based learnings. Some of the national skills objectives for us are to strengthen the TVET structure. So we currently have a TVET structure for certification, apprenticeship, but we are hoping that we are going to be able to strengthen those structures. And currently we have a regulatory body, the National Board for Technical Education, hand-holding some of these systems for maximum impact. We're also looking to strengthen industry TVET linkages and also expand inclusive access for youth and women.
Next slide, please. So on the economic structure and labor market, we've seen that this is extremely important. I wouldn't go too deeply into Nigeria. I think everybody knows Nigeria is a mixed economy, government, private sector, but a lot of it is informal. We have a significantly large youth population. Currently, over 60% of the population is considered youth. Key sectors, as you can see there, one of the fastest growing for us as a country is the creative economy. We see Nigerian clothes all over the world, the music, so that's an area that we're really trying to focus on. Employment structure, as I said, we're also looking at how do we further increase our services, agribusiness. In terms of projected labor needs, we think over the next 5 years consistently, Nigeria needs to create about 40 million jobs to be able to sustain that economy. Next slide, please.
So under governance, some of the key challenges that we see is the lack of coordination amongst MDAs. Nigeria has successfully put skill development forward as a national priority. However, following this, we find that a lot of MDAs are doing other activities around skill development. There's no unified ecosystem. And then we also have suboptimal private sector engagement and limited employment opportunities. Currently, we're working on finalizing the enactment of the legal framework for the NSQF that will help us coordinate all of these MDAs and ensure that we have a legal framework to follow in terms of skill development. And also define roles for stakeholders in skill ecosystems, such as other MDAs, private sector, industries, and trade associations.
Next slide. So in terms of sustainable finance, this is really key for us. So the challenges I think like most people will find is we don't have enough inadequate financing mechanisms, and that's something we're working on. Currently there's a lot of over-reliance on government and donor funds. So there's also what we call the ITF, which is Industrial Training Fund. It's a levy that's charged onto private sector. We need to do better around that. So when we look at the ongoing action plan, one of it is obviously to develop creative and sustainable financing mechanisms. So if you look at all of the work we're doing with the World Bank Supported Ideas Project, they've upgraded 80 of our technical workshops. We're trying to get these guys to now see themselves as commercially viable centers where they can generate revenue to allow those centers to continue to support.
Under standards, quality assurance, and pathways, we have some of our challenges are the inconsistencies across training programs. That involves the training quality itself, the assessment, certification, and the curriculum. Following the implementation of the IDEAS projects and some other projects across Nigeria, we found that we're able to standardize these qualifications over time. We're working closely with some of our professional awarding bodies to see how we can give roles and implement some of these things that have been invested on. We're also looking to expand the recognition of prior learning. That way we're not only focusing on the newly trained individuals, but we're also focusing on people that have been in the trade over the years.
Okay. In trainer availability, this is another major area. One of our key takeaways from this session, especially with the visit to the Kenya Tibet Center yesterday, we do have a shortage of qualified trainers. Some of the instruments that we're using are outdated. Again, part of the IDEAS project, we just trained 3,820 teachers across the country, and we currently have others in the program that we're going to continue to update. So that can allow us to increase. In addition to that, we're going to go back and we'll continue to work on development of a national competency-based instructor development program. This is to allow us to understand how people become instructors, how they get into the program, and how we can scale that.
Under digitization of skills development, we see that there's limited infrastructure, obviously, around electricity and the internet, and there's a wide digital literacy gap as well, and inadequate funding for some of these programs. But following implementation of the newly implemented TVET initiative, what we've done is that we have unified the entire registration, accreditation, and all of even the certification process to ensure that this is fully digitized. We're also looking to integrate digital literacy into the national curriculum and a nationwide rollout of innovative digital tools for NSQ assessment and learning platforms.
On the holistic skilling in the labor market, again, we do know that the systems are not there. That's why the digitization of this TVET platform actually makes sense for us. We can now see the people that are applying. I think in our first batch that we did this year, we had 1.2 million Nigerian youth actually apply for the program. We now have that data up to the local government level. We're going to continue to work on the labor market information system so we can tie the platforms together.
All right, under innovation policies, we see that there's limited research and development ecosystem, but most importantly, there's limited access to funding for research and development. We're looking to create platforms for TVET stakeholders to showcase innovations and also focus awareness campaigns and stakeholder engagement around research.
Okay, so just I think last slide, some of the indicators that we're looking at. Obviously, youth unemployment and underemployment is a major focus for us. As we said, 60% of our population are considered youth. We're looking to reduce that in the range of 30 to 40% over the next year. Employer satisfaction index, this is something that we're also supporting now with the tracer studies to make sure that people that are coming through this program, whether it's informal or formal, actually are meeting the demands of the employers. Number of certified artisans, we have a target of 10 million over the next 5 years. We're slightly under 1 million. And this is also going to support our master craftsmen as well. Gender parity, it's still extremely low. I think most of you will understand and appreciate the challenges in the region, especially parts of Nigeria where it's really difficult, but we do aim to have 1 in 5 being women in that field, and we continue to push to actually increase that at least to a minimum of 50%. In terms of the certification process that we've talked about, that is currently things that we're putting in place. Thank you very much.